In this video, we're going to showcase 8 different projects from the MakerPipe community, and these are all wildly different, and they have different things incorporated into them. And we're going to highlight some different things so you can get some ideas for your own builds. These are all made with a combination of off-the-shelf electrical conduit and fittings that we manufacture for building things with EMT conduit. We're just going to highlight some different techniques, different things, as I said, just so you can get some ideas for whatever it is that you're making, even if you're not making these exact same projects. And this first one is from Ryan, and this is really cool. This is a project he put together for his son for Halloween a little while ago, and apparently he is in the Army, and his son wanted to also be in the Army for Halloween, and this is really cool. His dad built this just amazing Halloween costume prop. As we can see here, this is a helicopter that Ryan put together with a combination of wood and MakerPipe and EMT conduit, as we can see here. Just a really fascinating project. I pretty much just made a frame with EMT conduit and MakerPipe, and then put some wood on the outside of it. See some pool noodles up there for the blades of the helicopter. And this is just really wild and really creative, as we can see. And if we actually go to this video here, we can see that it's motorized and uses an Xbox controller to spin the blades and shoot bubbles out of the bubble machine gun. So that is just really cool and just a really wild project. That is just really awesome. It's really cool to see this at Halloween, and Ryan put it together for his son there, and just really awesome. Really appreciate him sharing that, and just a really cool build. And I really appreciate you sharing this. Thank you for your service. And it's a good time to mention that if you don't know, we actually have a discount for active and retired military. Just send us an email, and we'll be happy to give you that discount on your order if you didn't know that already. Next up is a really awesome roof rack that comes from Barry, and this is really cool. He actually posted a full video of this build, including kind of his model and plan, and then highlighted some different techniques that he incorporated into the build. So I'll definitely link his video down below. He also did a blog that you can check out and get some really useful information. And this is just a really good project that he put together, and kind of a common one that we see for people that want to utilize their truck bed and kind of elevate their kayaks off the bed so they can still use their bed for camping gear or life vest, whatever it might be, just different gear that you have underneath that you wouldn't be able to put down there if you have the kayaks in place there. So it's a really common rack that we see people put together, and this one is really cool. Of course, made with 3/4 inch EMT conduit and MakerPipe connectors. It has some really nice bins incorporated into it. Let me highlight this here. We can see a few of the different connector types. I really like what he did to kind of create this angle design, where he kind of used the MakerPipe adjustable angle connector to grab onto this horizontal bar that runs from front to back. And then he's got this bent piece of conduit, which is something that you can incorporate into your builds utilizing just a handheld tubing bender, and kind of opens up a lot of cool possibilities. You can add some really cool angles and just different things. I think it was probably more of a practical use case in this scenario, because you could put a piece of plastic or something on there to kind of create a wind dam. So that's really cool. And that's just a really awesome project. Ton of connectors in here. See a lot of adjustable angles, a lot of T connectors in different places. So just a really good rack. It just has the 4 verticals going up, and then just like that elevated platform that works really well to elevate the kayaks, as we can see in this first photo here. And then we can see some really unique things that he did, which is, he just has the vertical legs going down with rubber pipe feet on the bottom, just resting in the bed of the truck. Then he used some of the puzzle piece clamps and some turnbuckles here to actually kind of secure this and bolt it to some brackets that are attached to the bed. So that's really creative and a good way to secure that in place there. There's the toothpick model, as we can see, and then here is the finished frame, and it just looks really awesome, really practical. And there it is with the kayaks on top, and just a really great solution and a really great project. Like I said, check out his video and his blog. Really appreciate you sharing those resources, Barry, and sharing these photos. Great job with the build. Next up is a really awesome build that was shared by Jeff and Paul and their crew. They put this together for the California Surf Museum, and this was an exhibit that they built. It's really awesome. They used a ton of conduit, a ton of MakerPipe, as we can see here. They shared a bunch of photos, which is really awesome. I don't know if we'll cover them all, so definitely go check them all out, but we'll kind of highlight as many as we can here. and essentially just built this giant display rack and built some individual displays and did all kinds of really awesome stuff. There's a picture of the crew there, which is really cool. And they made the Stars, Cars, and Guitars exhibit, which is really fantastic. And love seeing all these photos, just really cool stuff in here. And then we can see some of these like guitar stands that they made that are attached to the back wall of the empty conduit, as we can see. And they use some of the threaded pipe inserts with some plexiglass to create these really open, or these really cool kind of open frame designs for the guitars to kind of sit behind, which is really fascinating and just really cool. Just a ton of great techniques incorporated into this, and just really awesome. And it kind of worked out perfect because they obviously needed something custom to be able to, showcase the different guitars, all the different banners that they have, and the surfboards, and just all kinds of stuff. So, they shared all these photos, and it just looks really cool. There's some people walking around the museum and enjoying it, and just a really awesome project. We always love seeing when people are able to, make custom frames and displays like this for, different needs that they have for different exhibits and museums and whatnot. So this is really cool. Really appreciate them sharing this. Really awesome job. Like I said, check out those photos. Next up is a solar panel ground setup that Paul put together. This is really cool. Got some photos from their security cameras where we can see it all in place. Got quite the solar farm in their backyard, as we can see, and they made these really awesome frames with MakerPipe and EMT Conduit, as we can see here, and just a lot of good pictures. Really appreciate him sharing these. And we're going to do a build breakdown of this later in the week, just so we can highlight some of the techniques specifically. But just kind of a rough overview really quick is they use some of these concrete footers down here, as we can see, where the verticals just kind of go inside of those. They've got, vertical posts going up. And then, of course, with solar panel stands, you want to make them angled to be able to catch the sun at different angles throughout the day. And so they kind of made this angled design using a really easy technique, like I said, we're going to highlight. But it's pretty much just a taller vertical in the back than the front, and then just using T-connectors with a crossbar, and then mounting those with the conduit electrical hanger straps, which are a really good thing to use in this kind of situation. And pretty much just use that whole design all the way through the build, and just made all these different frames. And it's pretty much totally customizable. Looks like they've got a number of solar panels mounted. Like they've got a really long array back here. Then they have some with 4 panels, and then some with 3 panels. So, you can kind of utilize this design and customize for a wide variety and a wide number of different solar panels. So that's really cool, and just an awesome job. Nice and simple frame, and just really appreciate you sharing this, Paul. Looks like it's working great, and just a great idea and design. Next up is a build that was shared by C, and this is really cool. This is a fan stand, and really awesome. I don't know exactly what this is used for. It looks like maybe they're just based on the foliage in the background. Maybe they're in Florida or somewhere hot, and so they just wanted some ventilation. And this is just a really cool stand. Essentially just has this base at the bottom, this rectangle put together with 90-degree connectors, and then they use some 4-way connectors down there. Let me highlight this, and so I can point out the different connectors. But essentially, they've got, like I said, the 90s in the corners, got the 4-way connectors in the middle, and then they're using the adjustable 180 up here to create this angled support, along with some adjustable angle hinge connectors. And then they're using T connectors up here to actually mount the fan. And this is really cool. It looks like they actually have like a piece of EMT conduit sticking out of this T connector, and then it looks like it's flattened here. And then there is a set screw, a knob going through that flat piece of conduit into the mount of the fan. So that's really cool. Makes it where you can adjust it really easily. You could turn this fan and kind of face it different orientations. So that's really awesome, and really clever design. Then we can see they used some more 90-degree connectors up there to kind of finish off that. And typically for elbow connectors, we recommend using the T connector because it saves you money, and you don't have to worry about having this middle piece of conduit here. That definitely is necessary for this connector to work like it's supposed to. It looks like they just put a short stub in there and then put some end caps on the end just to kind of cover that up. So, you can do that too, but we usually recommend using a T connector. This is really cool and really creative, and just has some really, cool things incorporated into it, like the mounts for the fans. And just really awesome. Really appreciate you sharing this, C. I'm definitely a fan. Next up is not one that you see every day. This is a custom mini build that is being used in a pop custom setup, as we can see here. And this was actually shown to the actors, and they actually got it signed, which is really cool. But we can see here They wanted to recreate this scene from Jurassic Park, and this scene with that has the barrier that they're sitting inside of, this kind of cart. And so they actually used, if you look closely, the MakerPipe mini connectors, which are coffee stirrers and 3D printed version of the connectors. And they actually built this little miniature high-rise cart that the actors in the movie were in, and then they've got the Funko Pops in there. So this is really cool, and just not something that I would have expected someone to do with MakerPipe minis, but really cool nonetheless, and just really awesome. They were able to get this done, and it was actually seen and they actually got an autograph from the actors. So that's really cool, just really creative, and just love seeing that. So thanks so much for sharing it. Next up is another Halloween build, and this was from James, and he said every year they put together a skeleton in their front yard. And you can see here they've got one skeleton there, they've got one in the back, and they said this year they wanted to combine a bunch of skeletons to make one giant one. As we can see here, this is over 12 feet tall. There James is laying on the ground next to it. As we can see the size of that thing, really awesome. And essentially just this giant frame that they put together and then secured a bunch of skeletons to, and they said they were pretty much trying to make a skeleton kind of Voltron setup, just to have all these skeletons come together to make one giant skeleton. Really creative and really cool. Has the lights shining on there, and this is just an awesome prop they added to their Halloween show, as we can see here. And I bet Halloween trick-or-treaters love seeing it. Just a really cool one and just really creative, and just kind of shows that you can do all kinds of stuff with the empty conduit MakerPipe. You can make all kinds of custom frames and props and different things. So that's really awesome, James. Thanks so much for sharing this. Last but not least are these custom benches that were made by David, and these are really cool. You can see here in the back of their, I think this is like a work topper and bed rack, if I'm not mistaken, that this is inside of. I could be totally wrong, but I think just based on the way the tailgate's opening, I think this is some sort of like a utility van or truck, and then they basically just built and are turning it into a camper, as we can see here. So they have this nice and simple sleeping pad on this side. They've got all kinds of stuff on the other side, including this platform that they made to kind of elevate this drawer system above the charging station there. So that's really cool and really creative. They said they were looking at making this with 80/20, but use MakerPipe and Conduit just to save some money, which is always awesome. Love when people can save money on their ideas. And this is really cool. We can see in the back seat of whatever vehicle this is, looks like maybe this is like a Dodge van. But really cool. They made this platform for back here, as you can see, just to kind of take out the rear seats and then add this storage system back here. That's really awesome, and just used a bunch of the common connectors that we normally see for this kind of thing, where they have the 90-degree connectors being used in the corners to make this kind of box shape, as we can see there. Those are commonly used for this kind of thing, where you can just create rectangles and cubes using this, because there's a vertical that goes in the middle of the 90, as we can see there, and then you've got two pieces that terminate to create this 90-degree system, just like that, or this 90-degree connection just like that. So those are commonly used for corners. We can see some T-connectors being used to add some reinforcement to this. And so they have their sleeping pad on one side, and then they have that storage rack and platform on the other side. So this is just a really cool build and just really creative. And they said they're working on some more builds for their overlanding setup. So this is really cool. Really appreciate you sharing this, David. And thanks to everybody for posting your builds. As always, we love seeing them. And I'll link all of these down below so you can check them out in more detail if you're interested. If you have any questions, feel free to leave those down below as well. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.